Imagine going to work but not having any tasks, any promotions, any increments, or any chance of moving up the ladder. That's what former PSU President Gerald Henry has been dealing with for years at the Office of the Auditor General. He and a former auditor, Dorothy Obermeyer, explained that they have been experiencing persecution and victimization at the hands of those who rank above them.
I have not received any increments from shortly after I was assigned to be a member of Mrs. Rodriguez's section because my appraisals took a nosedive from scores of over 8 and above, which is above average, to less than 5, which is below average. And then when I did not get upset because the grades fell to below 5, I got less than 3, which is actually poor, in the category of poor. So I could not receive any increments. I was also assigned to enter yes or no on a spreadsheet for months, which shockingly probably made the most use of my master's degree and many years of experience since I achieved the degree. I was given numerous letters for trivial issues more frequently than I used to write to my pen pal growing up.
But why is this happening? Well, the Office of the Auditor General issued a release last week following a 2-month protest that Henry and Obermeyer held on June 9th, stating that they were deemed an audit risk because they did not want to sign the Code of Ethics in accordance with International Standards for Supreme Audit Institutions 130. And during this morning's press conference, Obermeyer explained why they believe the document should not be used at all.
First of all, this document that they are forcing officers to sign is, one, an international document that has absolutely nothing to do with GOB, the Government of Belize, and the Office of the Auditor General. Two, the Government of Belize never signed onto this document. According to a letter from the Office of the Auditor General, it was adopted by a former Auditor General upon attending a Caribbean Organization of Supreme Audit Institutions, CAROSI, event where he signed and agreed to adopt the International Standards for Supreme Audit Institutions, ISIS. The Government of Belize was never aware of an Auditor General adopted and ratified an international standard was never tabled in the House of Representatives. 2 officers who refused to sign the Code of Ethics were taken to the Public Service Commission. The first time it was a supervisor of audit. The Public Service Commission had never heard nor seen such a document, so they had no choice but to throw out the case, stating that this document has no validity within the public service. It is evident that the Belize Constitution Public Service Regulations 2014 comprehensively addresses the principles and standards outlined in ISI 130, Code of Ethics issued by INTOSAI. As such, the people in authority should find the application of ISI 130 redundant within the context of Belize's existing regulatory framework.
But that's not the only reason why they didn't sign it. And one signature has meant that for almost 3 years, they have been going to work but not given anything to do.
The reason why we didn't sign it is because in addition to what we showed there, no, there was an additional part to it, and we have been trying to get our hands back on it, and I don't think we have been able to get it. Or you have it, says, where it speaks to discipline, right? And that part was the dangerous part for us. You understand? Because that part basically said that the office can discipline us at any time for any reason that they want. And not only that, but we could be disciplined by the Institute of Chartered Accountants, which is a private body. So we could not sign on to something like that. You can see it has for completed activities for the entire week. And of course, the activity was not to do anything. So it was not applicable for us because you said not to do any work, right? So there were no activities And the only activity was on Friday because the report was due on a Friday. So the only activity that we had in this report was to prepare and submit the weekly report. Then they asked us to give ongoing activities, which again, you told me not to do anything, so there's no ongoing activity. Again, that is not applicable. And then they asked us to do challenges and setbacks to doing nothing. Wow, I didn't have any challenge setback to do nothing at all. And so that was not applicable.
And now they find themselves with nowhere else to turn, since not even the Ministry of the Public Service can intervene.
In this letter, you can see that they are responding to the three of us, right? It comes from Ministry of the Public Service, responding to the three of us. And basically, in this letter, they are stating to us that there's a new Auditor General who has recently been appointed to the office of the Auditor General. And it says, you are therefore advised to first address these matters with the new Auditor General, as this is the proper procedure before intervening any intervention by the Ministry of the Public Service. Now they're asking us to go to the same person who is oppressing us to try to get some relief.
And that's why they came to the media, to hope that the persecution can end, and in Henry's case, he can be given promotions and increments he is deserving of. Courtney Menzies, 7 News.